serious, man. You cannot be serious.
All right, welcome to the Straight Red Card. It is cocktail time all around the United States, everywhere in the world right now. It's cocktail time, and we are going to talk about the 40-man preliminary roster that Greg and his friends had to turn in to CONCACAF for the upcoming Nations League games. First one with Honduras, and that was an interesting 40.
Is it a requirement to throw in a 40-man roster, or is that just saying, hey, here's who we're inviting?
No, it's a requirement because once Nation League starts,
I gotcha. Yeah,
not deviate from that 40. Your team has to come from that 40. Yeah,
and that sucks for those 2 games we're going to play.
Yeah, exactly. Well, so this is as big as this list is going to get. Essentially, the players must come from this group, and that's a good point to make because it says a lot about Greg. Because what if there are a host of injuries and some of these picks about who he values and who he still thinks can play? All right, so but Brett, we're going to do this the opposite of the way everybody else has done it. Everybody else has said, well, here's my 23 of the 40. What we're going to do is we're going to do the opposite. Like we're going to do it as a process of elimination. We're going to axe players because it's always much more pleasurable to inflict pain than to provide praise. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to tell you why some of these players shouldn't be on here at all. And I mean, we're going to start it with this. You can't be serious.
You can't be serious, man. You cannot be serious.
Part of this list of the 40. And these are people like, are you serious? These people are called up again?
You can't be serious, man. You cannot be serious.
And I guess I'll start with my first one, Brett. And it's not that Paul Arriola is a bad player. It's just that he hasn't played for 6 months, really.
But he's healthy. He just got back. He's ready to go.
I mean, what did he play? Like a mouse's handful of games and minutes when he was in England, and then he got injured right away. And now he's called to this roster. I'm only guessing this is because he is one of what I call Greg's favorite puppies. Greg's favorite puppies. And so that's why Ariel is on this list. Do you have next? Go ahead.
So I will say that if you look at the roster itself, you shouldn't be really surprised by any of the names included because Greg has called in most of them consistently, especially when you talk about any of the MLS players.
Yeah.
So I guess if I'm going to have to pick somebody, I'm going to go with Roldan. And I understand why you picked him in there, but really?
Yeah. Haven't we seen enough?
Yeah. So, really?
Mercy, Greg. Mercy. Do not make us watch another U.S. men's national team game with Christian Roldan playing on it.
You can't be serious, man. You cannot be serious.
Unless it's like Gold Cup and it's like our C team or whatever. Okay, I can live with that. But we know what Roldan is. He's a solid player, but I agree with that.
He's definitely a filler, and I think when it comes to what we're expecting, say, in the Gold Cup compared to qualifiers and even the Nations League, I think there's going to be a number of MLS players filling in the rosters, even for that Gold Cup. And I think Roldan's going to be one of those players. But I think again, Berhalter has called in all these questionable players a number of times. I think there's only a couple of them that have been are relatively new.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my first pick.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to add another one. And I hate doing this as well because Tyler Boyd, he's a solid player, but he's just right now, he's just not U.S. men's national team quality. He does start pretty regularly for Sivasspor in Turkey. He's not like having a total, flashbang season where he's just kicking ass or anything. And we're talking about the Turkish league, which is very top heavy. And he should be able to compete. He should be putting up some good numbers in Turkey, and he's not. And I just don't think he even belongs on this list at this point.
Quite frankly, yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think we got enough attackers, and I don't think we need him on here. But
well,
whatever.
we're looking at depth in that Pulisic Reina type position, and we have Gioacchini in there. Yeah, and I mean, as an alternative. So I mean, I can understand why Tyler Boyd was called in. I'm actually glad to see him called back in. He's had a rough spell ever since switching over to us, and he had that first spell in the Gold. Was it Gold Cup that he played initially? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then after that, just between injuries and just not being called in, it's been a rough spell for him. I'm glad to see him get another look, and hopefully he takes advantage of it because he has the talent. It's just whether or not he shows up is the question.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's had a rough year in general. Besiktas basically threw him in their foreign player trash bin and said, yeah, he's the one guy we don't need him for the rest of the season. Mm-hmm. So that's why I had to go off on this loan to Sivasspor. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we don't need Boyd at this point. He needs to go prove himself. In fact, he's not even, I would say DeAndre Yedlin and Mix Diskerud at Denise Lisbor they're both having better season in Turkey.
Well, why not bring up somebody like Julian Green?
Well, yeah. I mean, we
always bring him up in our conversations, but he's doing well.
I mean, he got the shaft. And, here's a guy who can play almost any position in center midfield, not CDM, but he can play the other two spots, and he can play winger, and he can play CAM. You can even use him as a striker, or a false nine. And, man, that dude is getting the shaft because Greuther Fürth are still in the promotion zone in 2 Bundesliga. He's had a great season. And, yeah, I don't know what's going on there. I really don't. Yet, we called up Roldan again. Really? I mean, I'd call up Green before Areola, Boyd, Roldan, and my next pick, which is Kellen Acosta. I'm sorry. You can't be fucking serious having this guy on this 40-man preliminary roster.
You can't be serious, man. You cannot be serious.
And not surprised. Not surprised in the slightest.
I know. But what is this sudden fetish that it's not like Acosta's having had a great, a masterful season with Colorado. I don't get it, Brett. I
wonder if it's a versatility question because I mean he's capable of playing a wing back as well as
not very well.
6. Well, I mean he's capable. I said.
Yeah, like
you need somebody to fill in the role. Are you going to throw in a Pulisic or are you going to throw in a Costa? Come on, let's talk about that.
Like a guy with a broken ankle still capable of walking. I'm just saying, he could play like a very limited role for this team. So I'm guessing this is just sort of Greg, and somebody mentioned the politics of this as well, and how many MLS players had to make this preliminary roster. I don't know if I believe that or not, but sometimes I believe it.
Well,
I'm like,
I think I pointed this out. Klinsmann brought this up.
Yeah, he did. You're right.
About some of the camps, like the January camps, about how one player from every MLS team needs to be included. He was not able to provide a spot for all the best players for those camps, I guess. And going back and looking through a couple of the January camps, I saw it, quite frankly.
Yeah, no, I went back and looked too after I read that quote, and I'm like, yeah. He's not lying about this. So there's something to it. So yeah, Acosta, Roldan.
I've got one more, and this is gonna be one that that people might roll their eyes. Although we talk about it all the time, but Horvath. I mean,
hey, my God! I'm so glad that you said it instead of me.
Again, we always bring it up. We always talk about it, and I kind of feel like a broken record as well as you bring up. Like he's played like a couple games in 2 years.
Yes, that's it.
At this point, there is no way that he's on top of a number of MLS goalkeepers.
I agree. I think this is ridiculous.
So I'm throwing him on there. Yes, sheer talent, and he's definitely had some games where he's done well, and especially club and country, but it's been few and far between recently. And at this point, he either needs to find a new club or he's off the roster, in my opinion.
The most frustrating part about this is that apparently he's had opportunities. I remember reading the window before this one upcoming, that his club gave him the thumbs up for his agent to, go find a new club.
Shop yourself around, go for it.
Yeah, and he didn't. What I was told, and I hope this is not true, by somebody who has some inside knowledge, is that he didn't really want to move. Well, what? Do you want to play? I mean, do you want to play soccer? Because that's your profession. And the fact that this guy gets called in all the time and people talk about him all the time, like he's this world-class goalkeeper, but he's played 2 games in 2 years. Oh, okay, it's probably more than 2.
A little more, maybe 3, 4.
It's like dinky games, cup games that no one cares about. And he plays in a league that's really not that much better, if at all, than MLS. So enough with Heath and Horvath, all right? I mean, enough with that.
Maybe his concern is not necessarily to play for the national team. Maybe his concern is to enjoy himself in a city he likes and getting paid to ride pine.
It could be.
Maybe that's his overall game plan.
I don't know.
But at this point, for the national team, stop calling him in. He's got no game time. I understand, Stefan has limited game time as well. He has significantly more this year than Horvath has had over the past couple years.
Yep.
But he's constantly competing.
Yes.
And for the top EPL team right now, fighting for Champions League champions, it's a different game altogether for him.
He played all the Caribou Cup games. He played all the FA Cup games. It's not like
played
he's been
a couple of EPL games too.
That's correct. And so he played some of the early Champions League games as well, the ones that they were obviously going to win. So I just it's like comparing apples to oranges.
Sure, yeah.
In many ways. So I think that's all of the you can't be serious.
What?
You can't be serious, man. You cannot be serious.
People list. And I'm going to definitely use a clip of John McEnroe yelling that at an umpire as the opener for this. And so we'll be back with the part 2 of the show, which will be about, hey guys, sorry, you're just on the outside looking in. But for the next time, we'll see you. Bye.